My husband and son both lied to me. I'm 34 female and my husband is 36 male. We've been married for 12 years. A few weeks ago my husband said that he has seen another woman handle situations that he didn't think I would be able to handle. I tried to talk to him about why it bothered me and he just told me it was a passing comment and I shouldn't take it so seriously, that he had meant to simply compliment her by saying she was handling so much on her own, and he was impressed by it. I told him it was completely unnecessary and hurtful to compare her to me to compliment her. He told me I was being unreasonable and jealous and that he didn't mean anything by it. After that he didn't say anything else about it, so I dropped it. Then yesterday when I came home from work I saw a pair of women's Fendi sunglasses on our kitchen island, kind of hidden by our fruit bowl. I picked them up and asked my husband whose they were. He looked confused and was like, "Aren't they yours?" And I said no. Our older son, 11, is sitting at the kitchen table and goes, "Oh, those are my friend Allison's. I took them home on accident." I was immediately suspicious. These are very expensive sunglasses. I know Allison's mother and she doesn't seem like the type to let her child bring something worth that much money into school. My son kept insisting they were hers and he had just taken them home accidentally on the bus and he'd return them to her tomorrow, but I said no and that I'd return them to her mother in person so I could make sure they got to them safely. When I spoke to Allison's mother she confirmed that they weren't Allison's, and that neither she nor her daughter owned sunglasses like that. When I told my son and my husband this they both feigned ignorance. My son went from saying that he could have sworn they were Allison's to well maybe not, maybe I don't know whose they are. And then my husband said that he does remember taking the sunglasses out of our son's backpack when he was getting out his lunch stuff. My younger son, 9, just came home and recognized the sunglasses. They are Noelle's, the woman my husband helps out sometimes, the one who he told me to not be upset over comparing me to her. I'm going to confront him when he gets home. I don't know what to say to him. I feel as though I'm going to immediately burst into tears. Can someone please give me advice on what to say? And also just general advice please. I never thought I would be in this situation. Update. When he got home my husband admitted they were Noelle's. She has been over there while I was at work. My husband has not realized they were hers. He thought they were mine, which is why he didn't move them. My older son realized whose they were immediately, which is why he lied about them. He knew I was about to find it all out and was trying to cover. My younger son recognized them because apparently they have gone with Noelle numerous places on my husband's days off while I was at work. I don't know what he told my older son, but he told my youngest not to tell me about Noelle and her son hanging out with them because I would feel bad about being left out because I was at work. I returned the glasses to Noelle, who seemed horrified. She was under the assumption I knew about their hangouts. I asked her why did she think I would be okay with this. She looked really confused and told me why would I care if we were separated anyway. I told her we absolutely were not separated. We were very much still together. Apparently my husband told her we had not been together except for cohabiting and co-parenting for months now. I confronted my husband with this information and he didn't deny it. He apologized but said he had developed feelings for Noelle but didn't want to risk our marriage until he knew if they were true feelings or just attraction. He left the house. Noelle wants nothing to do with him because now she knows the truth. He lied to her as well and she's furious. I'm speaking to a lawyer today. I'm not going to speak to him again except through lawyers, since I don't have anything else to say to him. My boyfriend and his overly attached female friends. Am I wrong for feeling upset by my boyfriend spending alone time with women that he has made love with before? For context, the first one, we'll call her Rachel. They have been friends for years and he has been intimate with her a few times before meeting me. When I met him he told me they had never been intimate before, but eventually admitted to it. I told him that I was uncomfortable with the way that things were between them and that I wanted him to set boundaries. He had a key to her house, would sleep there sometimes, she's picked him up from work and they hung out, etc. He claimed to understand my feelings and said he'd set boundaries, but hasn't. I've been so paranoid that it got to the point of me reaching out to her myself and asking her about their relationship. She claimed that she didn't even know that we were together, but he said that's not true and showed me the screenshots to prove what he was saying. Now I'm being blamed for making a bad first impression and now she apparently doesn't like me because I approached her about him. She pretended like she said nothing bad about him during our conversation and made me look bad to him for calling him a liar and saying he sounded like a user based on her comment about him, when he lied. Don't do bad things if you don't want to be called bad titles. No. I don't want to control who he is friends with, but I feel like it's just not appropriate for a man in a relationship to be hanging out with another woman at 12 o'clock at night in her house. He's done that 2 to 3 times and each time I get upset. He knows it hurts my feelings and makes me feel uncomfortable. The second one, we'll call her Kwan. When we met he told me that this girl and him were just friends, that she had a busy daily schedule so they hung out at night sometimes or texted, etc. But that was quickly revealed to not be the complete truth because one night she kept calling him and I told him to answer the phone and basically it came out that he was sleeping with her before me and that she had feelings for him. She was hurt that he chose to be with me instead of her and I was completely in the dark about all of it. I thought that they were just friends. It was revealed that they were planning a kid together just last year. After that phone call, they hadn't spoken for days. It's been weeks since that and now she has popped back up again asking him for favors and acting like everything is normal again. I just don't get it. I don't understand how I'm supposed to believe that this is normal. Last one, we'll call her Naomi. I'll start this by mentioning that they haven't been intimate together as far as I know. They've both denied it. but I am still mentioning her because I feel very uncomfortable about her based on her behaviors. She has been very territorial and jealous when it comes to him and has admitted to being upset about him spending more time with me. I have expressed that it made me feel uncomfortable and he claimed that he would handle it, but she would call him in the middle of the night as well as send him videos on TikTok about attachment styles and just acted like she had some sort of control over him, like she was more than a friend. And as if that it isn't enough, their relationship makes me feel really uncomfortable in the first place because she is only 18. He claims that they have never crossed that line, but she is just way too comfortable around him, and I just don't understand what a 28-year-old man needs an 18-year-old friend for. My last issue with her was a few nights ago when I came to his place and she was there. It was almost 1 in the morning and she was there venting about some bull crap that happened between her and her other friend. I freaked out and he had to walk her out and we all spoke and she had some dismissive crap to say as if she doesn't see the issue with her actions, even though I clearly heard her telling him she wanted to be at my level of importance in his eyes. Like, seriously? My bottom line is, I know that he can't take back things that he did before he met me, but at the same time I feel like he is not considering my feelings at all, not moving as if he is committed to me, and that really bothers me. I made my boundaries and deal breakers clear and they were as follows. No late night meetups. Let me know prior to hanging out with them just out of simple consideration and respect, and to not ever make me feel like I'm not being prioritized because of them. So far he has broken all of those boundaries and turned around and called me controlling. He's even gone as far as to say that I pushed him to be closer to them and has avoided spending as much time with me because apparently I'm not as fun to be around anymore. I don't know what to do now. Literally just got into an argument about Naomi wanting him to see a movie with her, and when I asked if I could come along, he made it seem like I was intruding on their plans when I told him from earlier in the week that I wanted to see a movie this weekend when he's off. Apparently she doesn't like me and feels disrespected by me because I approached her about her being inappropriate with him and sending him stuff that girlfriends and boyfriends. It is laughable that an 18-year-old girl gets to determine whether she likes me or not when she has disrespected my relationship, and I'm here trying to compromise and be a third wheel on a date with my own boyfriend. I feel like I'm constantly competing for my own boyfriend and he doesn't seem to notice that that's even happening. Either that or he just simply doesn't give a damn, and I don't know how to feel about any of it anymore. I have had exes that have female friends and they set boundaries, but this guy just doesn't seem to realize how damaging and how abnormal and overly attached these women have been. I find it so weird, and to add insult to injury he has started accusing me of making love with one of my male friends, obviously deflecting. I have seen my guy friend once during the time I've even known my boyfriend. We barely even talk, but I'm getting with him? It's nuts. I need some advice at this point because I feel like I am losing my mind over this. My ex divorced me and now wants to be together again after 4 years. I 46 female and my ex-husband 45 male were college sweethearts and married at 26. Right before we got married, I gave birth to a beautiful daughter who's now 21 years old. I loved both of them dearly, and we've been a happy family for about 16 years before everything went down. Our only problem was my ex's mother. She always had a strong dislike for me. She never thought I was good enough for her baby boy. We had many fights, and my ex cut contact with her after the wedding when she tried wearing white to it. We had many encounters with her years after that, sending us gifts for my daughter and purposely trying to get us to contact her again, to seeing her outside our house. 4 years ago, I got home from work to see my ex and his mom together on the couch. My ex was on the verge of tears, yelling and calling me a cheater. I tried to explain I didn't, but his mother supposedly had proof, saying she saw me with another man out in a restaurant together. I'm very faithful and loyal, but he refused to hear me out. We got into a big argument before he packed up and left to stay with his mother. When my daughter got home from a friend's house, she too started to blame me when she found out from her dad. She went to live with her dad while he sent out divorce papers. It took about a year before it was finalized. He got custody of her, and I was granted visitation rights, but she never wanted to see me. It took a long time to move on. I sought therapy and fell into a huge depression. I knew my ex's mother made it up to tears us apart. I can't believe he listened to her so carelessly. I don't blame my daughter, but it still hurts. I moved out of the house to allow my ex and my daughter to live there. I ended up moving to a small apartment. It's been 4 years, and I started to finally be happy again. I made new friends. We had so much fun and I got a promotion at work. I still missed my family, my daughter, but I couldn't do anything about it. 2 days ago, my daughter called me. It's been 4 years since I've last seen or heard from her. She said that my ex's mother admitted to lying. She said that my ex got a new girlfriend and his mother was furious, claiming he shouldn't have one after all the trouble she did to get rid of me. They got into a heated fight before he kicked his mom out. I nearly wanted to cry. I thought she would never admit it. And now I'm hearing my daughter. She asked to meet up and apologized so many times. I told her we could meet tomorrow. Yesterday, I met her at a restaurant, but she brought along my ex, something she never mentioned, nor have I agreed upon. He was apologizing, saying how much he missed me and that he dumped his girlfriend. He wanted us to be together. Again, I excused myself and left them there. I got back home to lots of phone calls from my daughter and text messages from her. She wanted us to talk, and she called me an asshole for leaving. I told her I wasn't comfortable and that she needed to understand. I had to mute my phone and put it down for a bit. I haven't responded yet, and I'm not sure what to do. I love her, but I can't talk to her with him there. Not yet anyways. It feels so fast. I wanted to do it one-on-one. I'm deeply hurt and crying as I'm typing this. I don't know what to do. My adopted son called me mom for the first time. I haven't told anyone yet. It's nighttime and I cannot sleep. I'm just so excited and really need to let it out, so I'm writing here. For a bit of background, I, 35 female, am a single mom from a young age. I had always known that I wanted to be a mother. Growing up, the idea of having a boyfriend or a traditional family dynamic never interested me. I was, and still am, very independent, and rather than getting pregnant and giving birth, I've always wanted to simply adopt a child and raise them solo. Even as I entered adulthood, that desire never changed. 3 years ago, I was finally able to make that dream come true as I had the money and stability required to make it happen. Thus, I welcomed a 9-year-old boy into my life. His parents had passed away in a car crash, leaving him without anyone to take care of him. Other relatives lacked the financial means to take him. I still remember when I first laid my eyes on him. I knew I wanted to adopt him, even if he was already 9. I just had this urge to protect and take care of him. I don't really know how to explain it. At the start, we weren't close. I think he was dealing with his own sadness. While I was learning how to be a single parent, he called me by my first name, and that was okay with me. He didn't see me as his mom, but I understood that. Over time, he began to settle into our new life together. Our bond deepened and we got very close. He was, and still is, very mature compared to other children, likely stemming from the loss of his parents and the depression he experienced because of it. Despite his frequent moments of sadness due to missing his parents, his therapist and I were there to comfort him. I did, and still do, my best in providing him the best childhood possible, just like any child deserves. Now, to the main part. A few hours ago, we were in the kitchen, him doing some exercises to prepare for the upcoming school year while I prepared dinner. I was focused on my task when I suddenly heard his voice. Mom, can you help me with this? His exact words. For a moment, I was frozen. After a few seconds, I turned my gaze back to him and noticed a nervous expression on his face. I tried to act cool, so I just smiled and said of course, before washing my hands and heading to help him. I tried to keep a poker face, but on the inside, my heart was thumping and I wanted to hug him and ruffle his hair, although I held myself back because I didn't want him to feel creeped out, possibly leading him to never call me mom again. I know that sounds stupid. I guess I never expected for this moment to come. Rather, I had not even considered it as a possibility, so I was unprepared for the emotions it would bring me. As much as I tried holding back, I ended up randomly hugging him before going to bed. That's when I heard it again. Mom? What is it? It took me by surprise. I hadn't anticipated him saying it again today. Caught off guard, I reacted by quickly releasing the hug and looking down at him, before responding without thinking yes. He looked up at me funny before speaking. What? He said with his eyebrows raised, but soon enough, his seemingly confused expression transformed into a smile that erupted into laughter. It's been a few hours since then, and I've been laying in bed typing all of this for a while. I'm just so happy right now. I can't stop smiling. When I think about it deeply, it's like he has acknowledged me as his mother, or as one of his mothers, not just his guardian. Again, I'm so happy. I love him so much. I just had to let everything out.
I'm considering divorcing my wife because she can't get over her mom dying. Yeah, I know. Everyone is fired up at the title and ready to tell me what a jerk I am. So here we go. My 36 male, wife's 33 female, mother passed away 5 years ago from lung cancer. It was not a peaceful or easy death. Our lives understandably went on pause after the diagnosis, and we both spent a lot of time off work helping care for her mother. My wife had a pretty typical showing of grief at the time, cycling through different stages. Same with our 3 kids. After she passed, however, my wife got really bad. I totally understand this. I can't say I know exactly what she went through, because I haven't had a parent die, but I understand how devastated she was. For months after her mom passed, she could barely function. I gently took over pretty much all the responsibilities in the household and with the kids. She had been attending grief counseling since the diagnosis and continued after the death. None of this is the problem. I endeavored to be as supportive as possible. She cried on my shoulder every night for months, and I just thought this was the worst of, for better or worse. The problem is that after 5 years, she does not seem any better or more functional. She stopped grief counseling about 4 years ago and refused to go again, stating it would not help her and that nothing could. About a month before any major holiday, she will have a major downturn. In bed half the day, crying all day, does not want to interact with the family, does not have the energy to do anything around the house. This will go on every single day until about a week after the holiday ends. Every holiday is intense grief, just as much now as it was 5 years ago. October, November, December, and January, her mom's birthday month, every year are particularly bad. I am essentially without my wife, and am a single parent to my 3 kids. Altogether, she is completely incapacitated by grief for about 6 months out of the year, and it has been this way the past 5 years. When I say incapacitated, I mean incapacitated. When she is in the depths of her grief, she is completely incapable of intimacy with me or the kids. There is no cuddling, spending time with us, going on family outings. I don't make love for half the year. I've stopped asking her if she wants to talk about it because she can't get any words out between sobs if she tries. What hurts the most is that the kids have stopped asking or being concerned. If they see their mom in bed when they get home, they just go about their day and might casually mention, "Oh, Mom is sad today, if they're siblings or I ask where she is. They don't really seek affection with her anymore, because they rarely get anything more than tears. I've discussed this with therapists, my parents, friends, etc., and I know all the rebuttals people have for this, so let me preempt them. She is unwilling to go back to therapy for grief counseling or to see a doctor for depression. Yes, I know she's severely depressed. I can't force her to go to the doctor. I've tried so much. Yes, it really is just as intense as it was 5 years ago. No, I never tell her to get over it or blow her off. On my worst days I just give space and leave her be. Most days I try to offer her some comfort. If you want to judge me for leaving her alone, whatever, but know that I feel like I essentially have caretaker fatigue at this point. No, she does not have a history of depression, but she does have ADHD. Don't know if that's relevant. I feel like my wife died when her mom died. I would do anything to get her back, even a small piece of her, but she doesn't seem willing or able to move on past her mom's death. I feel awful for considering a divorce, but I don't know what else to do.